Okay, class, welcome back to Algebra 1B Bootcamp. We are going to be discussing representing data. And there are several ways that you will see data represented on your end of course exam. The first way is known as a box and whisker plot. Box and whisker plots are dealing with the medians and the quartiles of your data. If you don't remember what medians and quartiles are, feel free to refer your notes from our last section. When you see a box and whisker plot, you're going to see a box and then a few whiskers, typically. The middle of the box represents the median or the middle of your data. The edge of your box will represent the two quartiles, quartile 1 and quartile 3. The quartiles, again, are found by taking the middle of the first half of data and the middle of the second half of data. And then these pieces on the end, known as the whiskers, represent the largest value and the smallest value. Of your data. With a box and whisker plot, it's very easy to determine the median and the quartiles. You can also determine the spread or range very easily by subtracting the largest and smallest value. And you can also make some conclusions about the data when you add in numbers or take away numbers, depending on where those numbers lie. The next way that you will see data represented is known as a frequency table, sometimes known as a two-way table, but honestly, the name of it doesn't really matter. The key thing is that you know how to use the table. In this particular table, it's comparing males and females and the type of car they drive, so SUV or sports car. And just looking at the table, you can see that 21 males in the study drove an SUV, 39 drove a sports car, and you can see the females here as well. The important thing to note is the totals. There are 21 and 39 males in the study, which represent 60 people in the total. There are 135 and 45 females in the study, which total up to be 180 females. And then you can also look at totals for the different types of cars. There are 156 people, both male and female, driving SUVs, and 84 people driving sports cars. And this is the total number of people in the entire study. Note that is the sum of 180 and 60. It's also the sum of 156 and 84. Often with frequency tables, you will be asked to find percentages. Those percentages are very much determined by what the wording of your question is. So if it wanted to know the percentage or the probability of males driving an SUV, you would take the 21 and you would divide it by 60. And calculate that by popping it in your calculator. Now, if you wanted to know the total number of people driving an SUV, then you would look here at the 156 and divide that by the total number of people in the study, which is 240. So it all depends on really your wording that you're dealing with. Also on your end of course exam, you will see a lot of different ways that you can represent numbers and a lot of data. One of those is a line graph, where each dot represents a data point, and a lot of times you can connect the dots. You will often see maybe trends in data or lines of best fit that could be drawn in here. but I can always ask you questions about it. Like when there are 7 people, how many, we don't have any labels on this graph, so we don't know what it means. But what's the number of pets or something like that? And a stem and leaf plot is a very nice way to organize a whole bunch of data because it easily puts them in order. You have your stem, which is typically your tens column, and your leaf, which is typically your ones column. So we have like that represents the number 40. With stem and leaf plots, you can very easily find mean, median, and mode, and range. So they're very popular with our measures of central tendency. And the other way is dot plots, which is this guy down here. In a dot plot, every single dot represents one data point. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fives in this set of data. You have 2 50s in this set of data. Dot plots are nice because they can tell you how data is skewed. It can also tell you where clumps of numbers tend to fall. It's also easy to calculate mean, median, and mode from dot plots as well. So feel free to rewind and write down any notes that you need to. And when you have finished, show me your notes and I will give you your worksheet.